Good morning to all. Today I am going to upload the video lecture on electronic circuits 1 subject. So the objective of this subject is to understand the method of biasing circuits, that is biasing transistor. So it comes under the unit 1. This unit 1 is nothing but biasing of discrete BJT, JFET and MOSFET. So in this unit we have to learn about the what is transistor, what are the why we apply the biasing, what is the need of biasing, and what are the types of biasing. This also comes under the unit 1. And the second unit is BJT amplifier. So from that unit we have to know how to design and analyze the single stage and multi-stage amplifier circuits. So in first unit we have seen a BJT and JFET, just to apply the biasing. So second unit, how to design and analyze the BJT amplifier, because BJT amplifier having a 4 hybrid equivalent models. From that equivalent circuit we have to identify the what is the input resistance, output resistance, voltage gain, current gain. So based on these 4 parameters we have to design a single stage and multi-stage amplifier. So these the topics we have to see in unit 2. And third unit is single stage FET and MOSFET amplifier. So it's similar to second unit, the difference is the transistor. So second unit we are using BJT and third unit is FET. That is the difference. Remaining the concept, the content is same. That is what are the hybrid equivalent parameter for that FET circuit. So find out that parameter. By using that parameter we have to design and analyze the single stage and multi-stage of field effect transistor. And fourth unit is frequency response of amplifier. So in that unit already we know BJT and FET transistor circuits having a capacitor in that circuit, that is like a coupling capacitor and bypass capacitor. So we know the capacitor is related with frequency, that is F is equal to 1 by 2 pi Fc. The reactance of capacitance Xc is equal to 1 by 2 pi Fc. So the capacitance is inversely proportional to the frequency. So by varying the capacitance, the frequency also varied. So by using that capacitance, we have to identify and analyze the how the amplifier works in low frequency as well as high frequency, and which capacitor is depend for low frequency and high frequency. These are the topics we have to study in a fourth unit. And the last unit is power supplies and electronic device testing. So in that unit we have to identify and analyze the regulated DC power supply. If we need to design any electronic circuits, the first requirement is power supply. So what are the types of power supply and how it will be works? So all these parameters are going to study in the 5th unit. So these are the overall introduction about the electronic circuits 1 subject. Now let's go to the subject. So electronics is nothing but the movement of conduction in a vacuum tube, gas or semiconductor material. The motion of charge or the movement of charge, that is the movement of electron. It's called as electronic. So electronic circuit is nothing but the combination of active and passive components. Active and passive components. So what is meant by active components and passive components? Let's see. Active components. Active components means it requires the DC power supply. It requires the DC power supply for active the component. That is, for example, the example of active component is diodes, power supplies and transistors. So these components require the DC power supply to work on that circuit. If any circuit it should be work, it needs a DC power supply. That type of component is called as active component. In other words, we can say that it's capable of amplifying the given electric signal. What is that? It's capable of amplifying the given electric signal. For example, if we give the input signal is a 5 voltage of this waveform, it should be amplified at the output circuit by using that component. That type of component is called as active component. So the example of active component is transistors, diode and power supplies, etc. Then passive components. So passive component is nothing but just opposite to the active component. Like it do not require any DC power supply for operating that circuit. Okay. It do not require any DC power supply to operating the circuit. Otherwise, it do not capable of amplifying the given input signal, which is called as a passive component. So the example of passive component is RLC, that is resistor, inductor and capacitors. So that's all about the active and passive components. So electronic circuit is nothing but the combination of active and passive components. So in that circuit diagram, we using a 3 signals. There is 2 input signals, input signal VI and VDC, DC power supply, and 1 output signals. So these are the signals we are using in electronic circuits. So from that circuit we can observe that one input is from a power supply which provides the DC voltage and current to establish the proper biasing for the transistor. In electronic circuit we have to use 2 inputs. So one input is what? Power supply that provides the DC voltage and current, which is used to establish the proper biasing of the transistor. And second input is the signal which can be amplified by the circuit. So if any one signal is going to be amplified, it requires a DC power supply, which is called as biasing. Okay, is it clear? So electronic circuit having a 2 inputs. One input is from a power supply which provide a DC voltage and current, which is going to be establish a proper biasing of a transistor circuits. And second input is the signal which can be amplified by the circuits. So although the output signal which can be larger than the input signal, of course, because the input signal is amplified through the electronic circuit which getting a output signal. So although the output signals that can be larger than the input signal, but the output power can never exceed the DC input power. So can you understand the difference? The output signal should be larger than the input signal, but output power can never exceed the DC input power, that is the first input, DC input power, which cannot be exceed the DC input power. So the magnitude of the DC power supply is the one limitation to the output signal response. So is it clear from that circuit? Okay. Next comes to the unit 1. First unit is a biasing of BJT, JFET and MOSFET. So according to the configuration of the transistor, we can classify it into 2 types. One is the bipolar junction transistor, that is called as BJT. Another one is the unipolar junction transistor, UJT. So why is called as a bipolar? It's called as a unipolar. The reason is in BJT the current conduction due to both the charge carriers. How can we say the current conduction due to both the charge carriers, that is both electron as well as hole. So the movement of electron, the conduction of current based on both the charge carriers. So here 2, the term both means 2. That's why it's called as a bipolar junction transistor. The other name of BJT is also called as a current control device, because the output of the BJT current is controlled by the input of the current. That's why it's called as a current control device. Whereas in UJT, the current conduction is only due to the one type of charge carrier, that is majority charge carrier. It may be an electron or else holes. So based on the type, the majority carrier should be changed. For P type, the hole is majority carrier, electron is minority carrier. For N type, electron is majority carrier, hole is minority carrier. So based on the majority charge carrier, the conduction will happen. Then it's called as a UJT. It's also called as a voltage control device because the output current is controlled by the input voltage. That's why it's called as a voltage control device. Next, PGT having a 3 terminals. We know already, we have studied in a second semester, that is electron devices circuits. So it has a 3 terminals: emitter, base, collector. So first one is a NPN diagram and next diagram is a PNP transistor diagram. In NPN, what is the difference between these two types, NPN and PNP? Means the flow of current. Based on the flow of current, it classified into N type and P type. The arrow mark in the upward direction, it become a N type. The arrow mark in the downward direction, it is a P type. Okay, it is a P type. So based on the terminal, it can be operated in a 3 configuration. The first one is a common base configuration, and next one is a common emitter configuration, and then common collector configuration. So according to this configuration, the PGT transistor can be used as a voltage as well as current amplifications. Okay, what is meant by amplification? So it's nothing but by passing the input current signal from a region of low resistance to the region of high resistance. How can we say that amplification is? By passing the input current from the region of low resistance to the region of high resistance. So by passing the resistance from low region to high region, that is, it transfer the resistance from low region to high region. That's why it's called as a transistor. Transfer the resistance from low to high. That's why it's called as a transistors. So this is the diagram of common base configuration. In common base configuration circuit, the input terminal is emitter terminal. The input is given to the emitter and base terminal, and the collector terminal is the output terminal. So the output taken from the collector to base terminal, and base is a common to both input and output. So that's why here I am mentioning input is emitter and base, output is collector and base, and common terminal is base. So here the input current is emitter current, output current is collector current. So the ratio of output current into input current is termed as a current amplification factor, which is denoted as alpha. That is gain, current amplification factor or else gain. This alpha is equal to output current IC divided by IE. Then second one, common emitter configuration. In this circuit, input terminal is base, output terminal is collector, and the common terminal is emitter. So based on the terminal, the input is given to the base and emitter terminal, and the output is taken from the collector to base terminal. So here emitter terminal is a common for both input and output. So here the current amplification factor is termed as beta. So here the definition is same. That is, the current amplification factor is the ratio of output current to input current. So in common emitter configuration, the output is collector. So the output current is collector current IC divided by the input terminal is base. So the input current is of course base current IB. So the ratio of IC by IB is called as a current amplification factor beta. And third one, common collector configuration. So in this circuit, the base terminal is input, emitter terminal is output, and collector terminal is common. So based on these terminals, the input is given to the base and collector terminal. Output is taken from the collector to emitter terminal. So collector terminal is common to both input and output. So in this circuit, input current is IB, output current is IE. So we know the current amplification factor is defined as the ratio of output current divided by input current. So in CC configuration, the amplification factor is termed as gamma. So gamma is equal to output current IE divided by input current IB. So based on these three configuration, we commonly used configuration in amplifier circuit is common emitter configuration. So why? What is the reason why always widely we used common emitter configuration in amplifier circuits? There are two reasons for widely used common emitter configurations. So the first reason is both voltage gain as well as current gain is greater than unity. That is, greater than unity means the voltage gain as well as current gain more than the 1, value 1, that is greater than unity. Whereas in common collector configuration, the voltage gain is less than unity. In common base configuration, the current gain is less than unity. But in common emitter, both the gain, voltage gain and current gain, both the gain greater than unity. But common collector and common base configuration, any one current gain or else voltage gain, it should be less than unity. So it's not used in an amplifier circuit. And the second reason is ratio of output resistance to input resistance is small. That is, we can assume the range from 10 ohm to 100 ohm. So this makes an ideal for coupling between transistor stage. So what is meant by the second point means, in second and third unit we have to see multi-stage amplifier circuit. So multi-stage amplifier is nothing but the output of first stage is connected to the input of second stage. That is called as cascaded stages. Coupling between transistors. So for that coupling, we need a output resistance and input resistance. The ratio should be small. Then only the coupling become very effective. So for this reason, we have used common emitter configuration widely. Because in common emitter configuration, having a ratio of output resistance to input resistance is small when compared to common collector and common base. So this is the very important two reasons for widely used common emitter configuration in amplifier circuits. So first reason is voltage as well as current gain should be greater than unity, and the ratio of output resistance to input resistance is small, so we can easily couple between the transistor stages. Okay, now let's see biasing. So what